Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is part 3 of What If Naruto was sent to the Highschool DxD universe. It is a story about Naruto gets sent to the Highschool DxD world during the fight with Kaguya. Also check out part 1 and 2 of this, the link in description. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And check the description for the creator of this great fanfic, and support them for making this fanfic. So let's start this video. Naruto was on his way home, thinking about one of his students, Issei Hyoto to be exact. The boy didn't know he was turned into a devil yet, and that was kinda weird. He deduced that Issei had a sacred gear, and was killed because of it by his new girlfriend, and he was brought back to life by a devil. Talking about bats, one little bat cat's been tailing him around for a while now. Naruto remembered her name was Kaneko, a student of Kuo Academy. She's been following him secretly ever since he left school. Looks like those devils are suspicious of me, Naruto pondered in his mind. What are you going to do about that bat following you around? The nine-tailed fox inquired. Let's kill her. It's been so long since I killed someone. Looks like Shikaku still had his psychotic tendencies. Just a little killer intent would suffice, Jayuki proposed. The prankster and Naruto stirred awake with a new target in sight. Kaneko Toho was tailing the new biology teacher around, just like her king ordered her to, but she didn't think anything about the blonde teacher was special. I wish I had some candy with me. The Everstoke school mascot had a sweet tooth when it comes to candy. Nice you got out here, little cat. Kaneko almost fell out of the tree she was on when she heard her new teacher's voice behind her. The normally straight-faced teen had surprise written all over her face. The blonde was behind her, standing on the same tree, with his arms folded and bored expression on his face. Kaneko was surprised, because she was at a safe distance, looking at him in the street below. So how did he get behind her so fast, and without her knowing it all? You haven't answered my question, little cat. A mighty pressure slammed on Kaneko, and all of a sudden the air got so thick, and it was becoming hard to breathe. Kaneko saw her death flash before her eyes, and it was a very brutal one. The Nikomata saw the visage of a nine-tailed fox, snarling behind Naruto, before she blacked out. Ha, did I went overboard? Naruto asked to no one in particular with a sweat drop. Great, just great, Naruto deadpanned. This is your fault, Octopus. I'm not the one who released killer intent, the eight-tailed octopus defended himself. How was I supposed to know that the damn thing would render her unconscious? A chibi Naruto raged inside the seal. Ah, forget it, I'm gonna leave her here. Naruto hairoshin back home, knowing Tomura was going to be hectic. Scene change. Issei was in the occultic research club, in front of the Rias, with Akeno, Kiba, and Kaneko. He remembered, he was almost killed by a fallen angel, named Denasiage, before he was saved by Rias. He woke up, with her hot naked body beside him, on his bed. Issei had never been so happy in his life, not when his mom cooked his favorite meal, or when Yuma-chan asked him out, nothing compared to seeing her heavenly opie. She told him about his new status as a devil, and he was pretty devastated, to learn that he wasn't human anymore. Issei, everyone in this room is a devil. Rias dropped the bomb on Issei, as her bat-like devil wings came out from her waist. Issei gasped in surprise, and took a little step back out of fear, but was surprised to see his own devil wings behind him. She also told him about his girlfriend being a fallen angel, and that everything that happened to him was real, including his death. Issei wondered why his friends don't remember about Yuma, which made Rias tell him about fallen angel's ability to erase human memories. After Rias introduced him to the other members of her peerage, she told him he was a pawn in her peerage, which made Issei's self-esteem deflate. She later explained about the pawn piece having the ability to turn into any other piece except the king in battle, which increased Issei's confidence. She also told him about all devils' weakness to light energy. She told him about how humans summoned them to form a pact. The upside of all this was that if Issei did well, he'd get his own servants, and he could do whatever he wants with them. Guess the brunette's dream of becoming a harem king seems possible. Issei's first mission wasn't quite eventful, but when he was going back to the occultic research club, he almost lost his life again. This time, it was another blue-haired female fallen angel, by the name Kala Warner, and in this life-threatening situation, Issei unlocked his sacred gear, which takes the form of a red gauntlet, with a green gem on it, on his left hand. This made the fallen angel retreat, because she wasn't expecting him to have a sacred gear. After the little skirmish with the fallen angel, Issei got back to the occultic research club. He told Rias of his encounter, and his new power. She congratulated, and told him he could manifest his sacred heart anytime he wants. Now that the fallen angels know you're a devil, you have to be more careful, and don't think you can take them all on. Now that you have unlocked your sacred gear, Issei, the Redeed warned her pawn. Yes, I understand, Bucho. I'm going home. Issei dismissed himself. Scene change. It was morning, and Issei was on his way to school, when he saw a cute blonde girl, in a nun's outfit, on the floor, murmur something, about how clumsy she was. Hey, there, are you alright? Issei offered a helping hand. I'm fine, thank you. The blonde nun took Issei's hands. I'm Issei. Nice to meet you, Issei. I'm Asia. Sorry, but I'm a little bit lost. Do you think you can help me out? The blonde nun told Issei, with a blush on her face. Scene change. It was nighttime, and the light of the full moon shone brightly on one miserable blonde ninja, who had an extremely bored expression on his face, with one hand his pocket, and a grocery bag, filled with ramen on the other. He could have high rays shine home, but he actually enjoyed walking home. Stupid hormonal teenagers, Naruto grumbled under his breath. What are you going to do about those devils back in school? A chibi Kurama appeared Naruto's head with a poof. For now, we do nothing. I was thinking about the little cat, and how she felt like Yaokai up close. Those devils are going to be wary of you, Naruto. Let them be, Kurama. I don't have the time, nor energy, to waste on dealing with little bats. Meow. Ha. A black cat. Naruto pointed at the black cat in front of him, and his eyes was filled with melancholy when he remembered the excuse of a certain Cyclops. What are you doing out here alone, cat? Naruto rubbed the cat under its ear, making the cat purr in satisfaction. Boy, Naruto, that's not an ordinary cat. I know. This cat reeks of devil energy and chakra. You're bringing an unknown Yaokai home. It'd be fun, and besides, I'm bored. Naruto scooped up the black cat, after having discreet conversation with Kurama, who was in the seal the moment they sensed a cat. We're gonna have lots of fun, little cat. I'm gonna call you Tora. Scene change. It was 3:12 when Naruto finished with the last class he had for the day. And as for your assignment, I want it on my table tomorrow morning. Do you hear me, brats? Naruto barked at his students. Hi, Naruto-sensei, the whole class course. Naruto just made his way out of class when a pale blonde-haired student walked up to him. The kid seemed like a devil. Hello, Naruto-sensei, my name is Kibayudo, and, if you don't mind, Ryu's Gremory require your attention in the Occultic Research Club. Naruto rose an eyebrow at the blonde kid in front of him. Tell the Gremory brat to come to my office if she needs anything. Naruto was already 2 steps away before Kiba stood in his way with a smile on his face. Your attention is really needed, Naruto-sensei. It's about time, a topic she's having trouble with. Whatever it is, it can wait. I have to get home fast, so I can feed my pet cat. Go away, kid. Naruto dismissed the blonde knight. Naruto knew why the voluptuous bat wanted him in the ORC, and frankly, he didn't give a shit about what she wanted, or any stupid warning she would give him. Kiba was quite dissatisfied about the fact that he couldn't bring Naruto to the ORC, but he was kinda surprised, because Naruto Uzumaki had zero magic, or light energy. So, what faction did he belong to? Kiba opened the door to the ORC, and his fellow peerage member except Issei was present. Where is he? Ryuz asked. He declined, and he said something about feeding cats. Kiba replied the redeed. Oh, are you sure he's a supernatural, Kaneko? He's sinister and hostile. I saw my own death, Bucho. Kaneko was really shaken up by Naruto's actions the other night. I'm not sure, but his scent is that of a human. Human? Ryuz questioned with a frown. Yes, and a strong smell of a fox. The white-haired rook stated. Naruto-sensei's Yaokai, Akeno asked. He's not a Yaokia, Kaneko corrected. For now, just steer clear of him, okay? He might be on to us. We don't have enough info on him. Ryuz was about to continue, before Issei barged in screaming at them to please help save Asia, which Ryuz declined, but Issei wouldn't see a reason. That place is enemy territory, Issei. But Asia, whatever Issei was about to say, was cut off by Ryuz. You're not going in, that's final. But, Issei tried to argue. But Ryuz and Akeno left the ORC to meet Sona. Fine, I'll do it myself, Issei said with his boosted gear activated. I don't know whether you're brave or stupid, but I'm coming with you. Kiba secured his word beside his hips. What? You'll get promoted when to any other pice if you enter that church, but you can't defeat them on your own. That's where we come in. Kaneko too. Issei was happy, because the chances of saving Asia just went higher. The skull mascot just nodded her head. Alright, let's go. Scene change. Achoo. Naruto sneezed on Tora in his laps. Someone's talking about me. Naruto ignored the growling cat, and his offended cat scratched Naruto's face with its claws. Ah, damn cat. Get back here. Naruto chased the cat around the house, while Naruto's face gained more marks that healed on spot. Is the human that managed to evade the hero tribe for this long? I must say, I'm disappointed. The black cat mused. And why does Ophis seem so interested about him? Tora stopped on top of a table, with its fangs bared and its tail raised up, like a tiger ready to pounce on a deer. Boy, what's with that look, Tora? The cat's face went blank, and it jumped at Naruto's face, intending to claw out his eyes. Scratch. What the hell did I do this time, Tora? Scratch. Don't you like the name? Naruto asked, a bit weary with his hands, shielding his face. Somehow, the cat nodded. So, how about Garfield? Naruto received a sharp claw to the face. Would you like some ramen? Naruto asked with a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Meow. Somehow, Naruto knew the cat just said no to ramen. I hate cats, a flaming blue cat growled inside Naruto's head. So, what's your name? Naruto questioned the cat, as if it could speak. It's fine to tell me your name, cat. I know you're Yaokai, the blonde ninja said to the cat. For a second, the cat froze, before it regained its composure, and a mischievous smirk formed on its face. The cat transformed into a voluptuous young woman, with black hair and hazel eyes, in a black kimono, and a yellow obi. Looks like the cat's out of the bag, Nia. The cat now turned woman spoke, for the first time. Naruto's eyes twitched, because of the skimpy outfit she wore, and how her huge breasts were almost visible. You haven't answered my question, Tora. Naruto reminded. The cat-turned woman walked towards Naruto, with a sway on her hips. She cupped Naruto's face, and settled her generous butt on his laps. It's Kuroka Nia. She licked his whiskers mark. Naruto was getting uncomfortable, with the situation he found himself in. How was he supposed to know, that the cat was going to be this hot in human form? So, what do you want with me, Catwoman? You're quite popular in the Chaos Brigade, and you've managed to gain the attention of the Uberous Dragon God, a very impressive feat actually. Kuroka explained to Naruto, while tracing her fingers on his abs. The Auburn what now? Naruto was really lost here. Was her boss a name god or Auburn whatever or dragon? The infinite dragon god, nope. Oh Fizz, I don't know who you're talking about, okay. My boss required your expertise, and she'd have come here in person, if she knew where you lived. I honored Catwoman, but what if I declined? Kuroka giggled at that. You'll get the blessing of Fizz if you join us, Nia. We could definitely use someone like you, in the Chaos Brigade. Naruto hummed at the perks, but he had something else in mind. What is the goal of this organization? To remove the strongest dragon god from the dimensional gap, Nia. If your master wants my services, then she must grant me a request. That sounds fair. You're quite the celebrity in the hero faction, Naruto-san. Kuroka had heard about the blonde, and his escapades. The rumors of a human, smart enough to evade the hero faction entirely, and strong enough to defeat some member, was sure to attract attention. The reason why they stopped trying to capture him was unknown to Kuroka. Hero faction I'm afraid we have a little misunderstanding between us. Naruto was calm on the outside, but I man the inside. It was another thing entirely. It's that stupid organization again. Are our fate intertwined, or what? I thought I saw the last of them, when I went to Kyoto. I wonder how Kunu's doing these days. That fake Kyuubi must be doing fine in Kyoto. The fact that another Kyuubi exists in this reality was a hard pill for Kurama to swallow. I miss the outgoing Naruto-kun. Let's pay her a visit sometimes. Matatabitu was surprised to learn that Nico Matas exists in this world too, but they were on the brink of extinction unfortunately. While Naruto was in a conversation with the tailed beast in his mind, Kuroka decided to gauge Naruto's aura, and imagine her surprise, when she was hit with warm bright potent chakra more potent than her own. That's impossible. Kuroka gasped when she felt the nature energy around Naruto's house was calm and serene. Could it be? That's bullshit. As a Senjutsu user, Kuroka could sense things, and lately, nature energy seemed more relaxed in some places, and what they all had in common was the blonde in front of her. Said blonde had a distant look on his face. How can you use chakra, Naruto-san? Kuroka got no reply from the blonde Uzumaki. She snapped her fingers to gain his attention. Naruto had a lot of explaining to do if Katake Mute was anything to go by. He had something excluded to Yaokai's inside him, and it was perhaps the strongest chakra signature to she sensed. What do you hold, Yaokai? Was the whisker marks on his face due to his Yaokai blood? A lot of questions was on Kuroka's mind, and she was willing to use force to get answers. She clapped her hands to shake him out of his thoughts. Oi, I asked you a question, Nia. Kuroka screamed at his face. It took Naruto a moment to process what was going on. What was that? How do you have chakra? Kuroka snarled at him. Shit. How'd she know? Naruto had beads of sweat rolling over his face. Okay, play cool, Naruto. What do I do? What do I do? A chibi Naruto was inside the seal, with both hands on his head, running around in circles. You got careless, Naruto. Now she too knows you can use chakra. Kurama berated his Jinchuriki. A light bulb appeared on Naruto's head. You're a genius, Kurama. Naruto exited the seal. That's my sacred gear. Naruto looked at Kuroka in the eyeball with a straight face. A sacred gear? What's its name? Kuroka questioned with less hostility. It's a unique sacred gear, so I don't have a name for it. Kuroka had doubt written all over her face. Naruto interrupted whatever she was about to say. Do you mind getting off me? Your weight is blocking the flow of blood in my laps. The shinobi knew he had just dug his own grave. But it had to be done, in order to prevent her from asking more questions. Are you calling me fat? Kuroka's beautiful face took on a menacing look. Okay, Naruto, this is it. This is your first attempt, don't ruin it. Naruto took a deep breath as he prepared himself mentally. Wait. I don't mean to say wait, I meant to say your succulent ass. Naruto lied in a sleek manner. A sly smirk appeared on Kuroka's face. Yes, I do. I love sitting in your laps, Naruto-kun. She gyrated her hips slowly, with a smirk on her make. Your aura is so warm and welcoming, Nia. Kuroka rubbed her face on Naruto's hair. His aura was intoxicating, and the black-haired beauty was finding it hard to control her instincts. In fear of losing his innocence, Naruto pushed her off his laps and made his way to his room. "You can see yourself out. I have work tomorrow." The Uzumaki closed the door with a loud bang. "Naruto-kun, let's make babies." Kuroka knocked on Naruto's room. "This bitch is crazy." Naruto placed restriction seals on the door to his room. The sacred gear that allowed a human access to chakra. "Naruto Uzumaki, you are one interesting human," Kuroka said out loud to herself. She needed to know more about his sacred gear, and maybe she could teach him a thing or two about chakra if he joined the Cow's Brigade, and then they would make really strong babies together. Kuroka decided she was going stuck around Naruto for a while. "Well, I guess I'm sleeping here." Scene change. The local church in Kao looked more like a battlefield this night. Issei and Ko were in a battle with the fallen angel and stray exorcist. Issei went to confront his former girlfriend, whose real name was Rainer, only to see an almost naked Asia in chains, and Rainer ripping her sacred heart out of her. He tried to stop her, but he was too late. Rainer had already removed her sacred gear, Twilight Healing, and implanted it inside her, which made her more powerful. Asia was on the floor dying. Kiba and Kaneko bought him some time, and he took Asia out of the church, but the deed's done. Asia would die, and Rainer used this to taunt Issei. Issei responded in an aggressive manner, and a fight broke out, but it was one-sided. But Issei managed to defeat her. With Rainer on the floor injured and Asia's dead body in Issei's arm, Ryuz and Akeno arrived at the scene, after they were done with the other stray devils and fallen angels. Ryuz killed off Rainer, and she returned Twilight Healing back to Asia, and brought her back to life with her bishop piece, making her a reincarnated devil. Issei was overjoyed, because Asia was back in the living world. He hugged her close, and didn't let go. "Let's go home, Asia." Issei lifted her bridal style as they all made their way back to the O.R.C. Asia had a blush on her face when Issei smiled at her. She was really happy, because she now had what she wanted all along. A friend. The rays of the sun crept in through the brown curtains, behind the windows of a certain shinobi. A bluebird, perched on a tree, chirped loudly, with its eyes closed shut, as if it was screaming at a certain shinobi to wake up. Said shinobi squeezed his eyes shut, in exasperation. Due to the intense rays of the sun, the first thing he noticed was that his orange blanket wasn't covering his body, and there was extra weight around his chest, and a tingling sensation. The shinobi wondered which Bijuus was sleeping on him, but that thought was thrown out the window when he opened his eyes to see a mess of black hair on his chest. With reflex gained from his time in the elemental nation, he flipped the intruder on the bed, and a kunai poofed into existence in his hands, with its sharp edge beside the pale neck of the intruder. A feminine gasp of surprise was what stopped Naruto's reflexes. Naruto took his time to actually look at the intruder, and was a bit annoyed to see it was the Catwoman. He watched as her face went from surprise to fear and mischievous. "I never knew you were into something like this, Snea." Kuroka's verbal tick was really weird for Naruto. "What the hell are you doing in my room?" he screamed at her face. Naruto knew his seals were active, so how did she get in his room? Naruto remembers something about devils and their teleportation circle. He would have to do something about that. "I was cold and lonely, and you were so warm, Nea," she replied. Naruto took the kunai away from her throat and got off to prepare for the day. "Where are you going?" Kuroka's asked, as she sat, seized style on Naruto's bed. "The next time you sneak into my house would be your last," the shinobi replied, and closed the door to the bathroom with a click. Naruto was a very interesting person for Kuroka. Many men would have stared blatantly at her tits, but he didn't even spare a glance inside her revealing outfit. It takes great self-control to not gaze at a supernatural woman in a lustful way, but here was a human, not even taking a glance at her orbs. Naruto came out of the bathroom 10 minutes later, with a knee-length white towel wrapped around his waist, and another one wrapped around his hair. He made his way downstairs to make breakfast only to see Kuroka in the kitchen. He rose and eyebrowed her. "Don't you have any food item in your house other than ramen?" she asked, but got no reply from Naruto. "You need to eat other things than ramen, Nea. You'll never understand the divinity of ramen like I do," Naruto replied sagely. "What are you doing here anyway? Don't you have work to do?" the knucklehead ninja asked. "I've decided to stick with you for a while, and you don't know everything about chakra like I do," Kuroka boasted. Naruto scoffed and shook his head, while he wolfed down his ramen. "What? You think I'm a slouch when it comes to chakra? Do you even know what senjutsu is?" Kuroka was getting irritated at Naruto's lackadaisical attitude towards her offer of teaching him how to use chakra. Naruto actually laughed out loud at her statement. "You know nothing about senjutsu, brat," Naruto replied smugly. Kuroka gritted her teeth hard, and a growl escaped her mouth. She was about to retort before Naruto stood up and dumped the bowl in a sink inside the kitchen and traced his step back to his room. Naruto walked out fully dressed for work. "Catwoman, I'm going to work, so you're..." "Huh? She's gone." Naruto shut the front door and pocketed the keys and took off in the general direction of Kuo Academy. He couldn't shake off this feeling that he just created trouble for himself. Now everything will work itself out. Scene change. Kaya. Naruto-sensei. Look at how he's so modest. It's that blonde bastard again. Looks like something's never changed, Naruto mused as he walked around school to the staff room. His musing was stopped when he heard his name from a busty bespectacled female student, with black hair styled in a bob cut, and another bespectacled female student, with long black hair beside her, were in front of him. He remembered her to be the student's council president. What was her name again? Was it Sina or Sabrina? Nah, he'd figure it out eventually. Good morning, Naruto-sensei. Her elegance reminded Naruto of the clan heads, especially the Hyagas, back at home. This one would be a stick-in-the-mud type, no doubt. Good morning to you, Sonic, Naruto greeted her. It's Aona, Naruto-sensei, she corrected. And this is Tsubaki. Tsubaki greeted Naruto, and he did the same. Naruto-sensei, we have a lot to discuss. Please walk with me, she admonished her blonde teacher. Lead the way, Sokka. Naruto shrugged off the glare he got from Tsubaki. Don't look at me like that, people's names are really hard to remember, he defended himself. Naruto and Ko entered the student council room, which had a round table, and chairs in it, and the walls were painted light green. She took a seat in one of the chairs, while Tsubaki stood behind her. He noted that she was a bit tense, but Four Eyes' body language was really calm. It's come to our attention that your way of teaching is a bit crude, Sauna said. What? You calling me a lousy teacher? Naruto retorted as he crossed his legs. No, a student complained about you outrightly refused to help a student in need. When did I? It's about that Grimory kid, huh? Naruto had a feeling that was all this was about. This girl's a bat too then. You seem a bit annoyed, Naruto-sensei. This is not something to scoff at. You refuse to help a student in need of your expertise, and other students complain about your lukewarm attitude in class. You're one of the most intelligent teachers in school, having graduated from a prestigious university with a PhD. And you also. Naruto couldn't help but yawn. Because of the current situation he found himself in, the girl wouldn't just shut up. Well, he only remembered the first sentence. Yeah, so all you're trying to say is that I should smile more, right? Naruto asked. Naruto, whatever she was about to say, was interrupted when Naruto stood up from the chair he was in and made his way towards the door. I get it, Glasses-chan. I promise to be a good teacher from now on, Naruto set out as he exited the room. What a motto, Tsubaki scoffed. Sauna stared at her queen and couldn't help but give a nod of agreement. I think he's aware of the supernatural Bucho. There's something about him that keeps me on edge. Who knows, maybe he possesses a low-level sacred gear. Sauna said. She remembered her new pawn, Saji, was ready to have a familiar, and wondered if Rias wanted a familiar for her pawn too. Scene change. Stupid humans of this dimension. Naruto grabbed his hair and yanked at it with exasperation. Today was quite like any other, except he had to introduce a new student to his homeroom class, Asia Argento, and it turns out that she knew the Hyoto kid. The boys wouldn't shut about how cute Asia was, and even some female students though, he was in a relationship with her. Stupid fangirls. Naruto cursed as he walking around a park, and couldn't help but notice that the section he was in seemed empty. Like he couldn't sense any human nearby. That only meant one thing. A magic barrier was set up. As he was wondering who would place a magic barrier in a park of all place, and why, his analysis was interrupted by a certain cat. Uzumaki Naruto. Kuroka screamed out as she emerged from a magic circle. The blonde shinobi couldn't help but groan. What is it with you, Catwoman? Naruto asked. Fight me. Kuroka took off at Naruto with her fists balled up and her cat tails, and he was out. The ninja sidestepped her attempt. I don't have time for this, Catwoman, he said. Kuroka's pride took a blow when he not only refused her attempt to teach him how to control chakra, but also moaned her attempt at teaching him senjutsu. That was unacceptable, and when she's done with him, he'd regret not letting her teach him. Come at me, Naruto. She rushed at him intending to get a punch in, but all her attempts to cause bodily harm to Naruto was futile. The blondie just dodged it, with a bored face on, and she jumped back to create distance between them, and cast a fire spell at Naruto. Said shinobi stood idly looking at the ball of doom coming at him, with a bored face on. Kuroka's eyes widened when he didn't move from his position, and a second later, her attack collided with him, and a cloud of dust kicked up from the impact. Kuroka waited with bated breath for Naruto, and as the dust cleared out, she saw him inside a sand construct, relatively unharmed. She knew it was going to take more than that to defeat him. Last warning, Kuroka. I don't have time for this, Naruto warned. Kuroka gritted her teeth and took off at home again, but this time, she created 4 illusions of her, and they all surrounded him. Naruto chuckled and took a deep breath before he summoned 4 shuriken, and there them at all 4 Kuroka, and did a one-hand tiger seal. Shuriken Cage Bunshin no Jutsu, the projectiles multiplied, and took out the illusions, while the real Kuroka charged up a lightning spell. As she was about to take aim, a tendril of sand warped around her feet and threw her at a tree. Tree splinters flew away, and Naruto appeared in front of her face with a kunai in hand. She thought she had him put under an illusion, but it seems that he broke out of it easily. How? She asked before she passed out courtesy of a karate chop to the neck. Troublesome woman, the ramen-loving blonde sighed. Now he had to take care of her unconscious body. He carried her body bridal style, and was about to harass in her home, before he heard the familiar voice of a certain student. Naruto-sensei. What are you doing in here with an unconscious woman? Issei noticed. It was an extremely hot woman. Curse his luck. Someone I know, Naruto sighed at the current situation, before he walked away from the park. You have a hot friend, sensei? Issei asked. What happened to her? The brown-haired pervert asked curiously. She tripped and fell, Naruto answered. Issei face plant. How can a trip knock someone unconscious? You asked too much questions, Yodo. What happened to you? The blonde teacher inquired about the current condition of Issei. He looked like he just went through hell. Oh, I was training, Issei answered with pride. Why did you train? Naruto asked. What is your purpose for training? What drives you? For some reason, he regretted asking that question. I want to become an harem king, Issei screamed with glee. He was the weakest member in Ryu's peerage, and only ultimate class devil can have a harem. Naruto facepalmed when he heard his reasons. Why did I ask anyway? He picked up his pace. Wait for me, sensei. Let's go home together. The brown-haired pervert ran towards his sensei. Scene changed. The time read 5:15 p.m. when a ding sound rang from the kitchen, and Kuroka woke up with a gasp. She wondered where she was, before she remembered what happened in the park. That jerk. She barged into Naruto's room, but the blonde wasn't in. She checked the rooms upstairs, but still no sign of the blonde. She wondered why his house had a lot of rooms when he lived alone. She checked the kitchen and bathrooms, still no Naruto. Her anger was rising to epic proportions, and she needed an object or a certain blonde to vent her anger on. She would rather it be the latter. As she drew in Senjutsu chakra to find Naruto, her eyes whitened to the size of dinner was baited with calm, serene chakra which did wonders to her nerves. She let out a purr of satisfaction, and she almost forgot about the blonde she was looking for. As she gathered herself, she quickly noticed that Naruto's bright chakra wasn't around the house or neighborhood. All she could do was enjoy the feel of Senjutsu. If this was Naruto's doing, then she really need to ask him how he does it. She explored the house for a while, before entering Ho's spacious backyard which had different kinds of flowers and plants. She sighted Naruto on the floor in a dot. She wondered how he looked so calm for someone who walks around with a bored expression on his face. He was in front of her, but she couldn't sense him at all. It was as if he became one with nature. Kuroka smiled when she realized he was a sage. His connection with nature was on a different level entirely. Her chakra and senjutsu were inferior to his. He was a true sage. She almost regret disturbing his meditating form almost. Naruto-kun, when were you going to tell me you were a sage Nea? She asked as she walked closer to his position with her tail swinging happily behind her. The pigments around his upper eyelids faded away, and a bead of sweat rolled down the side of his face. She could once again sense his warm bright chakra. I'm hungry, he dully stated. Looks like the annoying Naruto was back online. You blonde human bastard, my pride as a Nico Shu and Yokai is bleeding there, she said. I'm hungry, he said. What should I eat? He pondered. Come on in. What would you like to eat? She beamed and hopped off toward the back door. A tick mark appeared on Naruto's face. Oi, it's my house at the bio. He screamed at her retreating form. Kuroka placed a bowl of miso ramen in front of Naruto. Naruto's mouth watered as he screamed Itadakimasu and split apart his chopsticks. He wolfed down the first bowl of the evening. So, you live alone, how about your parents? Kuroka asked. They're dead. Oh? When did they die? Did they left you this house? No? They died a long time ago, he replied after he took the second bowl from her. Who knew Senin mode could calm this cat like this? That's sad. Don't you have siblings or relatives? Too much questions. Too little ramen, she chatted his reply. Your chakra seemed different, can you control sand with it? She upped her cooking speed. Naruto knew his head at her question. She was kinda surprised to know that he could do that with chakra, and that shuriken trick too. How did you break out of my illusion so fast? That was really bugging her. I'm impervious to illusions, Naruto answered as he slurped the last noodles of the 8th bowl. That's impossible. I understand you being resistant to it, but being impervious, that's a lie Nea, she replied, as she dropped the 10th bowl of ramen. Who taught how to use senjutsu on a level like that? Naruto dropped the bowl, pat his stomach, and shifted his gaze to the clock which read 8:40 p.m. That's enough questions for today. He stood up and made his way towards his room. You can sleep in one of the guest rooms upstairs. He told her as he made a quick hand sign, and whispered Genjutsu, Kakuanjo no Jutsu. He heard a clatter in the kitchen, and laughed out loud, when he heard I can't see, from Kuroka in the kitchen. Haha, that's what you get for calling me a liar, he grinned, and went through another hand seal, before all the defensive seals in his house activated. He wore his pajamas, and dropped on the bed haphazardly. 9 poofs, and the chibi Bijuus were on the bed with him. Good night guys, he said as he shut his eyelids. The next morning, a yawn escaped Naruto's lips as he stretched on the bed. He groggily left the bed and stumbled his way to the bathroom. He wondered if Kuroka broke out of the illusion he put her under yesterday. It's been a while since he pranked anyone. He had this feeling that this week was going to be really boring. Oh well, he'd better get ready for school. Naruto nodded at his reflection in the mirror, and he decided to travel ninja style today. He enjoyed the rushing wind on his face. As he blurred from rooftop to rooftop, Kuo Academy appeared in the distance, and he upped his speed, landing on the floor with a soft thud. He took a steady gait towards the school gate, and he couldn't help but notice a lot of girls and women eyeing him like he was some sort of candy. Good morning, class, Naruto greeted as he entered class 3B. Good morning, sensei. They all tore out surprise at the fact that their sensei wore a suit. All beautiful blondes should die. Issei cried out. Settle down, Naruto ordered as he wrote the topic of the day on the board. He elaborated on it and asked if there was any questions. He noticed the new girl, and Hyodo wasn't in class today. The rest of the day went by in a flash. Naruto dropped in the long couch with a sigh. He laid his head on the armrest, and his legs were on the other one. His leisure time was interrupted by a certain woman who was on top of him rubbing her face on his chest. Naruto sighed again. Naruto-kun, let's make babies now, she said as she tried to unfasten his buttons. They took hold of her wrist and directed an emotionless stare at her. What's up with you want babies? He asked. I want to have strong babies, so I can repopulate my clan, she answered. Naruto grabbed her by the waist and lifted her off him like a bay and dropped her beside him. What yokai are you? A Nikoshu, a rare species of Nikomata, she answered as she. So are you a Nikoshu or Nikomata? Get straight to the point, Kuroka face palmed at his question. Are you the last of your kind? He inquired. No, I have a little sister, Kuroka answered. Naruto owed at that. She actually attends the same school you teach at. Naruto was surprised to know that a yokai was in that school. What's next? Angels. Fallen angels. Is her name perhaps Nikoko? Kaneko? No, it's, Naruto struggled with her name. Kaneko. Yes. That's it, he nodded. Kuroka's mood dampened, and her eyes glistened with unshaded tears, and her miserable look was augmented when her cat ears deflated. Naruto stared at her. You guys have history? He asked. Kuroka sniffed as she told him about her childhood, and how she had to become a reincarnated devil in order to protect her. She told him she became a SS class criminal. Naruto listened to it all, without moving an inch. Her sacrifices reminded him of Itachi, and she making the same mistake he did. You remind me of someone I once knew. He killed off his entire clan to protect his village, and above all, his little brother. Kuroka's eyes whitened when she heard what Naruto said. He manipulated his brother to hate him, and that hate drove his brother to madness. He backstabbed his friend, joined a criminal organization, and even abandoned his own village, for power to defeat his brother. To be honest with you, all the cool guys I know were criminals, Naruto said with a serious face. He remembered people like Nagato, Zabuza, Itachi, Obito, and even Madara. Don't push your little sister away, Kuroka. She deserves to know the sacrifice you made for her. Naruto used her name for the first time. Kuroka wiped off her tears as she stared at him in awe. Who knew the blonde had a side to him like this? Thank you, Naruto. She thanked him for understanding and using her name for the first time. Thanks for listening. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the playlist that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.